Welcome to the Big Cat Lounge podcast. I'm your host, Big Cat KZ. Thank you so much for listening in. The Big Cat Lounge is where we interview guests in a casual lounge setting from all over the world. We are on the way to achieving Big Cat International status. New episodes are dropped weekly on all places you listen to podcasts. Please rate and subscribe to help us grow. Welcome to the Big Cat Lounge podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Big Cat KZ, and today's guest comes from New Zealand, where he's an entrepreneur who's passionate about people and changing lives. He currently works at PreCast HQ, which is a concrete manufacturer, where he is a quality assurance engineer. We welcome Pravek Rhaj to the Big Cat Lounge podcast.
Thank you. Thank you so much, guys, for the wonderful introduction.
Well, thank you so much for being here. So tell us, what led you to pursue this opportunity in New Zealand? Because you were before in India, right, where you were at the Vellore Institute of Technology?
Yeah, the Vellore Institute of Technology. Yeah, that's where I did my undergrad in civil engineering. I've always been passionate about civil engineering, and people wouldn't believe when I tell them that, I wanted to be a civil engineer at the age of 12. And they'll be like, what? Because it's like really, they can't believe it. At such a young age, man, this guy wanted to be a civil engineer, and no way. And I tell them, yeah, that's yes way. And
what do you think led you to, is there something that was pivotal, a significant influence that
yeah, it was actually, well, the thing when I think it's also based on the environment that I grew in, and also the parenting and that values and all that. So when I grew up, I used to take my bus takes the same route to school every day. And I used to see these people, without any shelter, and they just roam around, and so many people die. And I felt like, I need to do something about it. And that's what actually kind of like slowly started leading me to, building, at least providing basic shelter for these people. And from there, it just grew that passion every single day. And when I at one point I decided, like, yeah, I'm gonna be a civil engineer. And that's where I think it led all to that. And from there, after going to university, I decided, being a civil engineer in India, working for some company, I won't be able to achieve my dream. So I wanted to start my own firm. And if I want to start my own firm, I need a lot of experience and capital. And that I'm not going to achieve by working in India for no matter 5, 10, even 20 years, because I'll still be an employee. And I've also understood from my dad that, if you want to have a great life or leave a legacy behind you, you can be an employee for your life. You won't be able to provide, a great life for your children or generations to come. So I decided on my first year of uni that no, I'm not gonna be an employee. And then that led to me, thinking about going abroad for my higher education, and then getting some experience and coming back and starting my own firm. And then I researched my options, did my homework, and found out that, okay, New Zealand is a really good option because they are growing a lot in construction, and they have a high demand for construction laborers. It's in the skill demand shortage list. So I was pretty sure I could land myself a really good job like I did now. So, and now I'm like really growing really fast. Like the company really loves me. They love having me around. All the people working there, I really enjoy, and I'm learning a lot. And I also found out in which kind of industry that I wanna, delve myself into. So basically, before we had in India, basically the construction they do is kind of different. It's kind of getting old school now. And what we do here is kind of the next generation construction. So this is what I'm gonna bring to India, because in India not a lot of people implement this way of construction. But there are certain places where they do, because I think with this kind of construction only, they were able to construct a 10-story building in Mumbai in just one day.
Wow.
In one day, yeah. And that most people wouldn't be able to believe that, but
Yeah.
one day they finished constructing a 10-story building, which is still safe and sound for people to live.
Yeah, it still meets
So
all the checks and balances, everything
yeah,
you need.
yeah, yeah. So because anyway, even if they did construct before letting people in, they would definitely do a structural integrity check so that it's safe for people to live there. So it passed all the tests, and there was I think it hit the world record or something like that. I'm not sure, but
Oh
I'm
wow.
sure it did. Yeah,
Yeah,
so I want to bring that kind of construction to India. So that's what I have my uh, hands on right now. So
that is really
hopefully it get
exciting. That is truly exciting. And you're
yeah,
able to really, refine your specialty. So like being able to get your master's also helped you,
yeah,
develop more of a network. You can also learn with like-minded individuals and just expand your horizons. So now you
yeah,
can bring even more knowledge to this segment, right? And then bring it right back to India and see if they can
absolutely.
adopt.
Yeah, yeah. Because like in India, what we have is what we have. You can only grow with what they already have. But when you go to a different culture, different country, the technology they use, you can bring all that to India. When you get access to a lot of knowledge, you learn more, and then you will be able to get that to our country. And I've always been very patriotic from the very beginning.
Hmm.
I don't want I don't want to work for another country because I want to work for my country. So that's also that,
Yeah.
and also doing something for the people. All that led to this great decision. Like I'm sure that I'm on the right path, and
Yeah,
definitely I
yeah,
will achieve
exactly. Yeah, once
great.
once you're able to just refine the plan and gather as much information as you can, then it's just about you executing. But right now
Yeah,
you've been able to get into such a niche. So it's
yeah,
that's wonderful to be able to be in a niche because
and one interesting thing that happened actually, like even though getting an experience here, like for 5 years or 6 years, and then coming back to India to start my own firm, I still don't have that business knowledge. Like I would understand how this business and everything works, but unless I put myself in a position of a director or anyone, I would not know what it takes to be a businessman. So one amazing thing that happened here is end of last year, 2020, I met this amazing guy on LinkedIn,
yeah.
and in no time we were having this high value conversations like you and me are having right now. And we were talking for a long time, and then he then introduced me to his mentors. He talked to me about his mentors, and they were like kind of his business parents.
Mhm.
And one of his mentors is a cancer research scientist, and he has like 19 patents under his name. And there's another mentor. He says he owns 9 aircrafts, and he owns his own aviation business. All these people were passionate about what they do, and they were building a parallel source of income apart from what they were already doing. And these mentors, they are like financially free for 10 to 25 years, and they've achieved a large, they've grown a large business network of over 1,000, 2,000 people. So they would know how to run a business. And when he introduced me to his mentors, I really wanted to know who this couple was and how they're able to, achieve this financial freedom and also help other people do the same thing. And they would definitely have a lot of knowledge. So I really want to know a lot of questions. I asked him a lot about these mentors, and
Mhm.
then I got to find out that they also qualify certain sharp individuals like me from time to time to qualify for the mentorship. So when I found that out, I pursued them relentlessly and earned that mentorship. They put me through a selection process, and I was fortunate enough to get accepted. And now here I am building that same lifestyle under the mentorship of this amazing couple. So this 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 opportunity like gives me, it expands my vision. Now in 5 6 years time, I will have the capital to what I want to achieve back in India. I don't have to depend on a lot of people. Even starting my own business, achieving, helping these people get the basic shelter, I will have the capital in 5, 10 years definitely. Our belief is so strong, our vision is so clear, the path will unfold. We don't have to worry about how we're gonna get there. We just have to, be very clear about what we're gonna do. And I think the universe will conspire to get what we want.
Today's sponsor is Anchor FM app. Go download the free Anchor app today to get started. You can find it at your Play Store or App Store. It's everything you need to make a podcast, and it distributes everything for you so it can be heard on multiple platforms such as Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts, and many more. This is what I'm currently using right now to edit and record my podcast, and you can do so from your phone or computer. And the tools are really easy to use to help document the Big Cat Lounge journey. So what are you waiting for? Go today and download it. I agree with you wholeheartedly. It really is about like a community. And once you're able to give back to others and provide value, then everyone's just supporting you and everyone wants you to win. If they don't want you to win, then those are the people you want to cut out of your life because they're negative people. So it's just being able to have those individuals you can rely upon. And then if you have questions, then you can ask them, and it's good resources. Because a lot of it is trying to search and figure it out independently, and that can be challenging at times. I mean, you can go and sift through and try and read books, but it is time consuming if you're not, diligent. So a lot of it is asking the right questions to the right individual.
And there's this amazing quote, help enough people get what they want, and then you'll have what you want.
Yeah, it really is.
It's a really nice quote. It's just simple, but it's so true.
What are some examples of some quality assurance activities that you'd perform on the site, or just a day-to-day example for our listeners?
So my day, typically how I start my day is mentorship. What I'm doing is, they're helping me learn everything, one thing a day at a time. So what I do is I get up. I'm trying to get up early. I was getting up early, but now since I come back late from work, I'm just trying to get back to my old routine where I used to get up early. So I'm trying to get up at 5, and then what I do is I just take a quick shower, and then I have all this face care, skincare products, and after that I do 15 minutes of mindfulness meditation. Just removing myself from this world. Like putting myself on a third perspective and looking at myself. So completely removing myself from this world and going like spiritually seeing myself. And then after that I read a book for like 30 minutes, 30 to 45 minutes, and then I take notes, and so that I can get back to that learning. Because if I just keep reading a book and then I'm not learning anything and implementing, there's no point in reading the book. So I always take notes when I read the book, and I share it with my mentors as well. And then after that, I listen to an audio for about 45 minutes. And usually now it's like I'm just listening to an audio while I'm driving the car. So that helps me listen to like one full audio or 2 audios a day, because I'll be going to work and coming back from work. And basically after the audio, I just pack my food and leave for work. And once I get there, I just clean my desk every day, because I don't like to work in an unorganized environment. So I make sure I clean my desk every day. This is my ritual. All these are my rituals until now. So once I get there, I just sign in and then clean my desk, organize all the thing, and put my food in the uh, break room, have one glass of hot water, and then when I tie my shoes, that's where my day starts. And after that, I start printing the drawings for the day, and printing some labels. We cast all panels, so every panel has to be identified, so that needs to be a label. So I print the labels every day, and putting that labels on the respective panels is my job. And then after that, we usually start casting concrete about afternoon or 12:30 or 1, and that's where like it gets busier. So I need to check every little thing in the panel and only when I give the green light, they'll be able to pour that panel. So if there's anything wrong with that, doesn't matter if it's like once it's gone to the site or after 2 years or after 5 years, it comes back to me. So they would be like, you didn't check that. So it's my job, to make sure everything is according to the drawing that they provide me. And I should, everything regarding quality is doesn't matter structural or, like a visual quality or any kind of quality. So everything comes back to me. So I need to check. We also have this software called Conca, Construction Quality Assurance. So that's where I upload all the photos that I take for the panel, and then the volume, this thing, the lot of information I upload in that every single day to show the clients, like what we are doing, and this is how we're doing everything, and then basically like giving them the assurance that everything is being done properly. So that's what I do basically, and then at the end of the day, I finish up everything. I print the labels. If I have time, I print the drawings for the next day, so that I can come back the next day and like start my day with a little bit of peace. I usually try to finish the next day tasks beforehand, and so that I can start the next day fresh. So that's basically my whole day. And then before leaving from work, I just check my mails. If I have to respond to any mails, I respond. And again, I do the same thing in the morning. If I have to see any mails or anything, because I usually don't like to see mails in between my day. That just disrupts my flow of work.
Yeah.
So I kind of, after reading this book called Free to Focus, I understood that, batching similar tasks together, that enhances productivity a lot. So all the tasks that are similar, I batch it together and do it together, so that I also engage in it a lot, because it takes us 15 to 20 minutes to start focusing. And if we are switching tasks a lot, that again it doesn't get a lot productive. So any similar kind of task I have in a day, I try to batch it together, and then I start looking at mails before I start work, and then once I finish work, and so that mail is sorted out, and this quality assurance is thing sorted out. But throughout the day, it's just me walking around the whole site, and then seeing if I have any things to check. And there's also a lot of things to do at the back end, where I have to be behind some people to get the certificates for the steel that we use and the concrete test results, uploading that. So there's a lot of computer work that I have to do during the day. So I also, find time, or like a lot specific time. That's what I'm working on right now. But basically that's it. But for the last 1.5 months, I've been, like given a lot of responsibility. I was supervising and doing the quality assurance at the same time. Like, I hate to be modest, but my supervisor, he's like one of the directors in the company. He's the director of the production. So he told me that he has supervised like more than 50, 60 people, and undoubtedly I exceed all of them. So that's what he said, and I'm like, okay.
Oh, that's good. That's always good. It's always feels good that you're valued. That makes such a big difference. So yeah, it's very important just to focus on one task at a time, because if you're multitasking, you lose extreme focus, and it's easy to get distracted from the phone with the notification, anything. It takes you away. It really does. And one thing with even like quality assurance, or just in general, like when you're auditing a function, you always have to think about new scenarios that come up. So I'm sure you've learned so much just from your time working, just so much extra knowledge and things that you didn't think about, different situations that come up, to prevent you from having someone question your work, and make sure that it's up to the par that you need to be.
Like the people don't understand this word. Like they think multitasking is actually a skill, but there is no such thing as multitasking. There's only something called a switching task. And many people actually don't understand that, because people think, looking at the mail and then looking at the phone is just like multitasking. But no, actually, when we look at the system, we are actually doing a certain task. And when we go to the looking at phone, that's a different task entirely. So we are switching tasks in between, and that kills productivity a lot. And multitasking is actually not a skill; it's something that we should avoid altogether.
Yeah, we really should. I mean, if the thought
Yeah,
comes, if a new thought comes, then just jot it down and come at it later.
yeah,
Because the
yeah,
thing is, you just lose your flow, and if you lose your flow, you'll lose tremendous productivity, and you can't have that happen if you want to be
yeah.
focused in a session.
And this is one good thing that found out a little while ago. When we have a lot of thoughts going on in our mind, it's better to write it down, and our mind goes to peace. It really works, so that we don't keep thinking about it.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's always not at the back of our head.
Yeah, yeah.
Something like, oh,
Because we always constantly trying to remember all that, and
yeah,
then
it's
so
on
when
this
we jot it
Excel
down,
page or this page.
yeah.
Like, where is it? Yeah. This brings us to the quote of the day. Most people overestimate what they can do in 1 year and underestimate what they can do in 10 years. This comes
Oh,
from
that
Bill
is so
Gates.
true. That is so true.
Yeah, because what we don't know is we don't know, right? That's just how it is.
And that's why, like I also found it out, like the real growth happens in the area what we don't know. Because there is something that we don't know, and things that we know, and there are things that we don't know. So that's like entirely new. We haven't even heard of it. We don't even know it exists in the world. So the real growth happens in those areas,
Yeah.
like something that we haven't even heard of. But there are also things that we've heard of, but we don't know about it. And there are some things that we know and we've heard about it and we know it. And the least growth is in the area where we already know what we know. And also they say this is also for the network, the growth happens in the network that we are yet to discover, we are yet to network with. And with the people that we already know, we can only grow so far. But the people we discover along the way, you never know who can change your life entirely. And so for that, we need to keep networking. We need to discover a lot of people. We need to start talking to a lot of people, make good connections and valuable connections. And like that's what it really inspired me with this mentorship. And they're helping me, connect with a lot of people.
Yeah, and here at the Big Cat Lounge, we've been lucky. We've been able to capture a lot of voices from all over the world. We have 172 more countries remaining that we'd like to capture, because then we'd have captured every country in the world. But we're on a good journey thus far. We've captured a lot of different backgrounds, and it's really good to bring it back. Bring back the different experiences. Is during your podcast listening, is there anything that you're specific, like you're targeting specific one? Shows? Like, how do you decide that every morning in advance? Because you're very diligent with planning. Do you have this all set up?
So we have this. We in my mentorship community, we have our own app called. It's called the Team on Global. So we have this app, and we have audios a lot in it, and it has a lot of categories like attitude and leadership and all that. So I listen to one particular category for like a week or 2 weeks, and then understand that mindset. So I just go to the app and then go to that category, and then I just choose one audio for the day based on the title. So and then I listen to it again and again until I understand and grasp that whole mindset about that audio. And this is the great thing about these audios, is that the audios that I listen to are the audios of my mentors, like who've been in this business for like 50, 60 years. I have mentors like who are in this business for more than 80 years. And so like when I listen to these audios, it inspires me, for people from my similar background who started in this venture have achieved so big success. And with that kind of technology that they had, and the technology that we have today, we can build a humongous business. And they didn't have anything. They didn't have cell phone. They didn't have internet. They didn't have anything. and they build a huge business with just that kind of resources. So if they can build that kind of this thing, the amount of hardships, the struggle they went through is like nothing compared to what this generation is going through. And when I listening to audios like that, it really inspires me and also makes my belief stronger every day that I can achieve it too. So these audios are like every audio that I listen to is from my mentor. It's audios about uh, where all of my mentors speak on a certain topic. So, and apart from that, I also listen to other audios outside of this our community, and those audios include like from great leaders outside like John Maxwell, Simon Sinek, and quotes of Bruce Lee, and audios of Kobe Bryant, and like I really like listening to Kobe Bryant's speeches. It's really inspiring.
Yeah, it truly is. It really is. And right now, there's a need really to hire based upon performance and not experience. And like on LinkedIn, that's one thing I noticed. A lot of people are even saying that they're not even able to get an interview because people are saying, "Oh, you need experience." But a lot of it is having that interview and having that opportunity to touch upon different scenarios and how you would approach different problems, because that's the only way you're going to be able to bring it back. All these tasks you'll able to learn on the job. And if not, I mean, you'll have to rely upon your peers. It needs to be set up in a way for you to be successful.
And like I find it funny when they put a title as entry level position, and then they ask for 3 to 5 years experience. Like, what? How is that an entry level position then? And 3 to 5 years is enough experience for someone to get so good in that field. Get more than a professional level, and that cannot be entry level. It's like people sometimes there are people who have like 10-20 years of experience, but it's just that 3 to 4 years of novel experience and multiplied by 10. So there's a saying, we discover most of the things that we will face 95%. Yeah. 90% of the problems that we'll face, we'll discover it in the first 3 years. So what network do you have in US?
What network?
Verizon. Verizon?
Oh, Verizon. Oh, yeah, Verizon, AT&T, Sprint. Yeah, those are the.
Yeah, okay. Let's say Sprint, for example. So they have let's say the employees that work there for like 3 years, and there's an employee working for 10 years. So the difference between an employee working for 3 years and 10 years is just 10% of the problems they'll face. So an employee working in 3 years, he would have already, faced 90% of the problem or the issues that all the customers face. So he will know solutions to 90% of the problems. But it's only actually that 10% that you need experience a lot. You need to stay in that field for a long time to actually discover what are those 10% of the problems that you might encounter. And that's the only difference. That is why that experience is actually valuable only for the 10%. So in 5 years, I would say like a person is 90% capable of solving all the problems.
This brings us to our fun facts. Because I was skimming about information about New Zealand, I came upon this information. No part of the country is more than 128 kilometers from the sea. So that's just over an hour's drive. So no matter where you are in New Zealand, you can always reach the ocean.
Definitely.
How has that been for you? Have you been able to just really explore?
Yeah, I've been able to explore New Zealand a little bit, not too much, because I'm not much of a traveler.
Oh, okay.
But I do like to travel, but it's just that I don't travel on my own or with but I've always been thinking about it, taking a cruise alone, going away from everything, and then just taking a trip by myself and exploring this thing. That would be that's on my bucket list.
Yeah,
I
and
want to do one
they
day.
say that if you go, you go and you have dedicated time away, you can really, learn so much from an experience
Yeah,
like that. So I
yeah,
would say, yeah, it's something it's on your bucket list. So yeah, definitely knock it off.
yeah. When we go out somewhere, alone, there's a lot of me time. It's a lot of me time, and you have a lot of time to reflect. You have there's a lot of things that you can reflect on yourself. So that's one thing that everybody should do, like going away from everything and reflecting on themselves, and that'll bring them all the energy back, and that'll again put their best foot forward when they come back.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had few experiences, and last year I was able to go to a place called Topo, and I was able to tick two things from my bucket list, which is bungee jumping and skydiving.
Oh wow.
So I really enjoyed that experience, and that too on the same day, back to back. I was like adrenaline rushing through my body. It was really fun, and yeah, that's one good experience that I had. And after coming in Auckland, I didn't get much of a big chance to explore. I just went to three places. One, I went with my friends a little bit to Coromandel. That's a place called Coromandel, and the drive was good, but not very good. The drive was all right, and the place this place called I forgot. It's a cove. It's a cove, and we went there. It was really good. That place. Took a lot of photos there. Yeah, I do have quite some memories, but not a lot, I would say.
Yeah, yeah.
Still yet to discover a lot in New Zealand.
Yeah, there'll be time. I mean, there'll be time too.
Yeah. That's plenty of time.
Thank you so much for coming on the Big Cat Lounge podcast. Where could we look to find your journey or continue to see what you have next in store?
So people can always connect with me on LinkedIn. So that is where I usually, do most of my network and activity. I spend a lot of time on LinkedIn. That's the only social media platform where I spend 90% of my time. And I don't use WhatsApp and Instagram that much, but people can always connect with me on WhatsApp as well. I have my number on LinkedIn. I have my mail ID. So people can reach out to me anytime. I'm always a big networker with a big heart. Would definitely make your day.
Thank you so much for coming on the Big Cat Lounge. We appreciate your time.
Yep. Thank you so much, Kyle, for having me. It's been a great pleasure talking to you and being in this podcast. And thank you for choosing me as well.
We are accepting applications if you think you have what it takes to be a big cat and be a guest on the show. Email us at bigcatlounge@gmail.com. Thank you for listening to the Big Cat Lounge podcast. Hope to see you soon.